Hello and welcome to the Sounds from the Grave podcast. My name is Yussef, and welcome to Your Week in Horror, bringing you all of the latest horror news and headlines of this past week. But before we get started, I would like to mention that you can follow us on all of our socials: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, as well as YouTube at Sounds from the Grave. And you can also follow my lovely co-host Vanya. She is on Twitter and YouTube as HHN Cultus, where she posts a bunch of HHN related stuff, horror inspired makeups, goth culture related stuff. So definitely check her out. She has amazing content. And then for myself, you can find me on Instagram at Yusef1220 and on Twitter at ItBeYusef, where I post a variety of random dumb stuff. Uh, and then the last bit of news I have there, before we move on to our actual horror headlines, um, when it comes to some of the stuff that I'll be discussing regarding images that come out or pictures that get released, you can always check those out on our Instagram and also now our Twitter. So that way you have a couple different ways to see the pictures or images that I will be referring to. But yeah, that's really all I have. Without further ado, let's dive right in and see what is making news in horror. So, the first piece of news that I have, IGN did premiere on October. I'm sorry, I'm going insane. We have a new poster for the upcoming Chucky series that comes out on October 12th. And the trailer, or not the trailer, jeez, what is wrong with me today? The new poster is very cool. It's a nice little spread photo of all of the current major characters in the show, followed by Chucky's famous kitchen knife with his reflection on that. So that's gonna be pretty cool. It's really funny what it says on the poster as well. It is said it is a coming of rage story. So it kind of feels like maybe Chucky tends to be a bad influence in our main character's life and kind of almost train him to be a serial killer, which sounds like it could be pretty interesting. That would be a good premise for a Chucky TV series. So, like I said, that comes out on October 12th, which is very, 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 very soon. That's going to be coming to Sci-Fi and the USA Network, so keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. But moving on to some unfortunate, sad news. Um, Actor Michael K. Williams did pass away earlier this week. He was 54 years old, and it was reported by Variety. The New York Police Department confirmed to Variety that the actor was found dead on Monday at 2 p.m. inside of his Brooklyn residence. This is actually very, very sad. Because funny enough, he had just been nominated for an Emmy for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama Series. And it was actually for HBO's horror fantasy series Lovecraft Country. And that's just like one of the small roles that he played, because he did a bunch of stuff. Like he was in the series When They See Us, Vice, The Night Of, and Bessie. But he's probably most known for playing Omar in The Wire and Chalky in Boardwalk Empire. And yeah, he will be greatly missed. But moving on to some news on the lighter fare, we did get the new trailer for the upcoming Lego Star Wars Halloween special on Disney Plus. So we already know that the Lego Star Wars universe has gotten some Christmas specials, but this is the first time we're going to be getting a Halloween themed special coming to Disney Plus in October. And the trailer for this is so cool. I can't wait to see what they do with this. I was not expecting this to even get announced. I mean, it's a Lego Star Wars Halloween special, all about the Sith, and like, what is cooler than that, you know? So, like I said, that comes out to Disney Plus in October. If I remember correctly, I think the trailer has the release date on it. If not, then it just says October. But moving on to our next news, this one is, in my opinion, very, very exciting news. Alan Wake Remastered is going to be, it got officially announced to come out in the fall. For those of you that don't know, Alan Wake is a horror adventure game. And funny enough, over the last weekend, a listing popped up for a remastered version of the game, and it wasn't official. And then that got kind of swept under the rug. But Sam Lake, the creative director for Remedy Entertainment, who was the developer of Alan Wake, did formally announce that. So the game itself will be coming out on October 5th. It includes all the DLC, director commentary, and 4K visuals. As part of the announcement, Sam Lake said, "I am beyond happy to tell you that at the time of writing this, Alan Wake Remastered is nearing its completion. Confirmed, announced, coming up in partnership with Epic Games Publishing. Multi-platform, PC on the Epic Games Store, Xbox, and for the first time ever, PlayStation, and that's going to be for this generation and the previous one, so that'll be for PS4 and PS5, as well as the Xbox One and Xbox Series." He continued to say, "Alan Wake Remastered is the original experience you fell in love with all those years ago. We did not want to change that, but the visuals all around, including the character model of Alan Wake himself and the cinematics, have been updated and improved with some choice next-generation upgrades." So I'm very excited for that. Alan Wake is one of my all-time favorite video games. It's equal parts creepy, haunting, entertaining, action-filled, suspenseful. Like, it's such a fun game. And I'm excited to replay it again because it's been quite a bit since I played it, and just really fall in love with the characters and the setting again, and just the fun concept of the game. Uh, but moving on now to some home video news. David Bruckner's The Night House is going to be coming out to home video in October. It is going to be on digital on October 5th, and it comes out on Blu-ray and DVD on October 19th. So what's cool is the release will include the extra feature What Happens at the Lake House. So that's going to be a deep dive with the director and the cast to unearth the secrets of the Night House. So that's from the design of the sets to Rebecca's Hall performance, and it's like a full-on making of, almost like full documentary. So that definitely sounds like it's going to be pretty cool. Like I said, it comes out digital October 5th and Blu-ray and DVD October 19th. So put those on your calendar. Make sure you pick those up. Because Night House, I never got the chance to see it in theaters, but it looks really, really good. But then the next one we have here is Netflix released a trailer for a brand new movie that's coming out. It's called No One Gets Out Alive. And funny enough, it's actually from the creators of The Ritual, which is a movie that Vonnie and I had covered in a podcast episode some time ago. You can check those out in our previous episodes. Um, but this is also an adaptation of a novel, and we got the trailer for that. The movie stars Christina Rodlow and Mark Menchaca, and it's going to be coming out very, very soon, actually. It comes out on September 29th. And the movie synopsis reads, an immigrant in search of the American dream is forced to take a room in a boarding house where she finds herself in a nightmare she can't escape. Which sounds very, very creepy. I already have high hopes. When Vonnie and I were covering The Ritual for our podcast episode, we talked about how much we really enjoyed this movie and how the slow burn and everything leading up to the big climax was extremely entertaining and very well acted, very well written. So I have some pretty high hopes to see what um, David Bruckner does with this film. But moving on to some more Netflix news. I didn't even know about this, but there's an interactive WWE horror movie called Escape the Undertaker. So it got announced by Netflix a couple days ago, and the movie stars WWE legend The Undertaker, alongside all three members of the beloved faction The New Day, which is Big E, Xavier Woods, and Kofi Kingston. And the synopsis reads, "And escape the Undertaker has set a trap for the decorated tag team The New Day at his mansion. What they don't know, the Undertaker's mansion is an extreme haunted house, packed to the brim with supernatural challenges. It's up to the viewers to decide the fate of these three poor souls trying to survive the wrath of the Undertaker." The movie itself will premiere on Netflix on October 5th. And honestly, this is very exciting. I don't remember what the reaction was to Bandersnatch, which was a Black Mirror film on Netflix that was also interactive, where it had multiple endings, multiple story beats that you could choose from. So I personally liked it. I liked the aspect of it where I could rewatch the movie and get different endings, different character interactions. So we'll see what we do with this one because, funny enough, I've recently gotten super into professional wrestling thanks to my friends Cece and Kyle from Scream Queens and Trick or Treaters podcast. And yeah, like I'm really getting into it. So as soon as I saw this, I was like, this is perfect. It's professional wrestling and horror all in one nice little interactive Netflix package. So yeah, again, that comes out on October 5th. So check that out if you are interested in that. Um, so Netflix like really just went all out this week. They released some new images of the upcoming Sam Raimi produced Nightbooks. So, Nightbooks is going to be a kid-friendly gateway horror movie that's going to be coming out to Netflix. Actually, by the time this episode comes out, in 2 days, on the 15th of September. So, we got the new images for that, and it looks so fun and so entertaining. We have these very vibrant colors, these like fun little kids doing, like kind of horror-related stuff. And we can't not mention Kristen Ritter and the incredible looks that she is serving up in this. Because as our main witch, she isn't just, lady in a black coat and a big hat. Like, she is fabulous. She is fashion. And I absolutely love that. So, again, it comes out September 15th. And check that out if you... Excuse me, I had to yawn because I'm very, very tired. I just realized it's 1 o'clock in the morning. But this, like I said, the movie comes out on September 15th. So definitely check that out if you think you could be into that kind of kid-friendly gateway horror movie. Or if you have kids, this would be a pretty good movie to start them off. Or start the journey, Berber. Start their horror journey off. Jeez. I'm so sorry, guys. This has been like an episode of me messing up over words and just being too tired to edit them out, okay? So I'm sorry. But moving on, some disappointing news. Last week I announced that Krampus the Naughty Cut, which is a 4K Ultra HD re-release, would be coming out, I think it was in November, but it got announced that, yeah. Yeah, November 16th, actually. But Scream Factory updated the other day that it's actually going to be bumped back a little bit. Um, in the announcement, Scream Factory said the response to our recent announcement of the upcoming UHD Blu-ray was so positive and overwhelming that director Michael Dougherty kindly asked for a little more time to work on the release, which of course we agreed to. The new release date is December 7th and will be worth it. Final extras and more details will be released in late October, early November. So, I know some of us were waiting for November 16th to pick that up. I know I was, because I wanted to see an upgraded or extended version of Krampus. Luckily, we don't really have to wait too long. It's only 2 weeks. So at least we can get it before Christmas. We can get it, hopefully, some of us can get it as a nice little Christmas present. Or we give it away as a nice Christmas present. So, yeah. But the next one is more home video, this time Steelbook related news. So, released back in 2016, Rob Zombie's horror movie 31 is going to be returning to Blu-ray just in time for Halloween with a new Steelbook Blu-ray release. It's going to be coming exclusively to Target. In the press release for this, it says, from beloved cult director Rob Zombie comes the new re-release of his spine-tingling Carnival of Horrors 31, arriving October 26 on Blu-ray and digital steelbook from Lionsgate. So, like we said, October 26th, Blu-ray steelbook exclusive to Target. So, go do a Target run, go pick 31 up if you are into Rob Zombie and if you're into steelbooks. Personally, 31 isn't really my favorite movie of his. It's okay in my opinion. But I don't own a copy of it. So I'm pretty sure I might be picking this up, especially because it's going to be a steelbook. But moving on to some of our gateway horror news. So Disney Plus announced the lineup for this year's Hallow stream, which does include Muppets Haunted House and R.L. Stein's upcoming Gateway series Just Beyond, which we have spoken about a little bit on the show. So we learned that the Muppets Halloween special will premiere on October 8th. Um, and a remake of a 1990s Disney Channel original movie called Under Wraps premieres on October 8th, while RL Science Just Beyond premieres its entire season on October 13th. So the first couple weeks of October are going to be really, really interesting. We have so much stuff coming out. So we have the Chucky series, we have the Muppets Haunted Mansion, Lego Star Wars, apparently, Under Wraps, RL Science Just Beyond, Halloween Kills. I think Midnight Mass comes out that same week. Like, first 2 or 3 weeks of October are going to be ridiculous and busy for everybody in horror, pretty much, because there's going to be something for everybody. But moving on, we did get the final trailer actually for Edgar Wright's upcoming horror film, Last Night in Soho. So obviously this movie was kind of bounced around the calendar because of the whole Panda Express. But now we do know for sure that the movie is scheduled to come out on October 29th. And we have a brand new trailer that gives us a little bit of an idea of the storyline. A little bit, it's more of a clear picture as to what we might expect to see in the film. So the movie takes us back to London's Soho district during the 60s, with Thomasin McKenzie starring as a fashion designer who uncovers a murder from the past. And the victim is Anya Taylor-Joy's Sandy, who's a singer. And the plot synopsis reads, in the film, Eloise, an aspiring fashion designer, is mysteriously able to enter the 1960s, where she encounters a dazzling wannabe singer, Sandy. But the glamour is not all it appears to be, and the dreams of the past start to crack and splinter into something far darker. I saw the trailer for this, and I was already excited for this movie, but this made me even more excited for it. So I honestly, I can't wait to see this. I'm a huge fan of Edgar Wright's. I love Anya Taylor-Joy as well. So this feels like a match made in heaven. And not only that, Matt Smith is in this movie, who I love. I think he's adorable. I love Matt Smith as well. So, like I said, that comes out on October 29th. So check that out if you are interested in that, if you're into that kind of stuff. But moving on, we do have a new picture from the upcoming Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City film. So this one is more of a spotlight on Jill Valentine and Chris Redfield. So the latest shot spotlights, like I said, Jill, Chris, Albert Wesker, as well as Brad Vickers, who's kind of a minor character in the lore of Resident Evil. And it looks like in the picture all the characters are, like packed with weaponry and like are just like ready to blow some shit up. Now, my theory about the picture is it looks like it's taken pretty early in the film because it looks like they're outside in like a wooded area. And for those of you fans of Resident Evil, you know that's exactly how the first game starts, with this group of police officers investigating areas in the woods where other people have gone missing and that kind of stuff. So that looks to be kind of the beginning, I think. But yeah, I'm excited for this. I honestly am extremely happy that we're getting a new Resident Evil, and based on what the director has said, that it's going to be going more of that horror route instead of going to like the sci-fi action shit show route that the previous films took. But moving on, we do have finally a trailer for Mike Flanagan's upcoming series on Netflix, Midnight Mass. So for those of you who don't know who Mike Flanagan is, he did direct Haunting of Hill House and Haunting of Bly Manor. So this is going to be his third show now with Netflix, and it's called Midnight Mass. It will premiere on September 24th, and the synopsis reads, Midnight Mass tells the tale of a small, isolated island community whose existing divisions are amplified by the return of a disgraced young man and the arrival of a charismatic priest. When Father Paul's appearance on Crockett Island coincides with unexplained and seemingly miraculous events, a renewed religious fervor takes hold of the community. But do these miracles come at a price? Holy shit, though. The trailer for this series looks amazing. It's some of the, I think we're only getting one returning actor from Hill House, which was the actress that played Theo as an adult. So that's gonna be pretty cool. And the movie itself seems to, not the movie, I'm sorry, the series itself seems to have like a mix of folk horror, like kind of like Wicker Man and Children of the Corn and that kind of stuff, mixed in with Satanic Panic kind of stuff. So I'm excited for this. I can't wait to see what this is going to be like, because the trailer itself doesn't really reveal much of what we might expect, I believe. But yeah, like I said, that comes out on September 24th on Netflix. And hopefully some other people get to see it. I would love to talk about this series when it comes out, and really get some more people's opinions and input on it. Um, but moving on to some more Resident Evil related news, we did finally learn that the MPA has given Resident Evil its rating. It is going to be R rated. The movie itself is going to be rated R for strong violence and gore and language throughout. Yes, please. This is synonymous. Something like Resident Evil, with the amount of violence and the amount of gore and blood and all that kind of stuff. If it was not R, it would have failed spectacularly, I think, already. Um, but with it being rated R for strong violence and gore, already a great sign, because especially with the newer games, they don't hold back. They're extremely bloody, extremely gory. So hopefully we get to see something at the same level of the games. Um, yeah, but moving on to some more news. Disney gave us some more information on the upcoming Haunted Mansion film that's coming out. So we do know now that Owen Wilson is going to be in the film. It's still unknown as to what role he's going to be in. But now we know that he's going to be joining Tiffany Haddish and Lakeith Stanfield in the film. So this is going to be pretty cool. He's kind of having a renaissance right now after having been in Loki as Morbius. So this could be really interesting. I'm curious to see what kind of character he's going to be playing in this film. But that's really, like I said, we were getting Haunted Mansion related news very piecemeal. We only get like one little tiny bit at a time. So we'll see what keeps happening there. But moving on to some more Salem's Lot news. I feel like I've talked about this movie quite a bit recently. I think it's because we've been getting so many news regarding this film. But now we learned that William Sadler is going to be joining the film. For those of you, I think William Sadler's most well-known performance would be Death in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, as well as Face of Music, and he is also in the film The Mist as I think Mike the Mechanic or something like that. So that's a pretty big cast, I think. Uh, it looks pretty interesting. Like I said, I haven't read Salem's Lot in years, so I pretty much do not remember what happens in this, but we'll see what it is like, and we'll keep you guys updated on what else happens. Moving on to some collectible news, Nika announced or gave us some new pictures of the upcoming Chucky and Tiffany clothed action figure 2-pack. So, Nika in their preview announced, finally in clothed action figure form, this 2-pack includes Chucky and Tiffany with fabric clothing, plus plenty of accessories, an additional swappable head for Chucky, 2 knives, 2 guns, axe, and necklace. The figures stand 5.5 inches tall and are fully posable. And the 2-pack is expected to begin shipping in March of 2022. Just a little far off, but the pictures for this look really cool. I'm not a huge fan of clothes figures. I feel like clothes always look like super huge on the characters, and it just feels like a little kid wearing their dad's shoes or their mom's, dress or something like that. Like, it just feels slightly out of place to me, but it'd be cool to get the 2-pack of both Chucky and Tiffany, because not a lot of those are made. Usually it's either one or the other by themselves, or they mostly tend to focus on Chucky. So that's going to be a nice little pickup if you do get it. But keeping it in the Nika realm of news, we also got announced a brand new Pennywise figure called The Many Faces of Pennywise. But I know what you're thinking. Like, we've gotten so many different versions of Pennywise, from the Tim Curry version to like three different versions of the Bill Skarsgård. So you're like, what the fuck is different about this one? Well, here it is. This one includes 10 different heads. That's right, 10 different heads. So they're also updated with digital printing, and we got the new images of that. So we have new heads, new hands, new accessories, and all of the heads do represent Pennywise's different looks throughout both movies. So that's going to be crazy because it includes, like his really creepy grin, the massive tongue flopping look. Um, what's even cool is one of the heads is actually from Chapter 2, where it's Bill Skarsgård transforming into Pennywise. So that's going to be pretty cool. We don't have a whole lot of news after that, though. But we are going to be getting some more details as fall goes on. So stay tuned on that. But then moving on to... or moving back, I should say, to the world of R.L. Stine and Just Beyond. We did get a new poster for this, and it looks really, really good. I like the fact that it kind of looks like it's taking a horror anthology route with a bunch of different types of creatures and monsters and that kind of stuff. And even some tentacles. So I'm like, okay, are we going to get Lovecraftian here? Like, come on, give me what I want. So, yeah, you can, like I said, all the pictures that I've talked about or early images you can find on all our socials. Speaking of images, we did get a first look at Ethan Hawke as a sadistic killer in Scott Derrickson's The Black Phone. So, this one is something I had discussed, I think, about 2 episodes ago of news and horror news of the week. Scott Derrickson's new horror movie, The Black Phone, is going to be premiering at Fantastic Fest, and that's going to be running from September 23rd to the 30th, before releasing in theaters on January 28th of next year. And we got the first official image of Ethan Hawke as the Grabber, who is going to be the main antagonist. For those of you that do not remember the synopsis, it is about Ethan Hawke is a magician that would kidnap and murder children. And when he when he kidnaps his latest child, he is left in a room locked in with a phone. And every time the phone rings, it's actually one of the killer's victims trying to give advice to our protagonist and help him get out of this horrific situation. So that's going to be pretty cool. And, that's a quick release. It is January 28th, so keep your eyes peeled for that. It looks like it'd be pretty cool. Sinister itself is such a weird and creepy and disturbing movie. And just the whole overall premise of The Black Phone is extremely creepy, extremely disturbing. So I have high hopes for what Scott Derrickson is going to do with this project. But moving on to some more Haunted Mansion upcoming film news, we did also learn that joining Lakeith Stanfield, Tiffany Haddish, and Owen Wilson, we are going to be getting Deadline reported that Rosario Dawson has also joined the crew or the cast. Again, in an unknown character at this time. So we'll see what happens there, if we're going to get more casting news or if we're going to get some more reveals of the characters. But for now, I think that's all I had regarding Haunted Mansion. But moving on, we did learn that Paramount acquired the distribution for the upcoming Orphan prequel called Orphan First Kill. So Esther is going to be coming back in this upcoming prequel, and Isabel Furman, who played Esther, is going to be playing the character. And the movie will be directed by William Brent Bell, who directed The Boy and Separation. So the Hollywood Reporter gave us some news. Let us know that Orphan First Kill has now been acquired for release by Paramount. It doesn't have a release. The film itself doesn't have a release date as of yet, but filming has been completed. And the synopsis reads: In Orphan First Kill, Lena Klammer orchestrates a brilliant escape from an Estonian psychiatric facility and travels to America by impersonating the missing daughter of a wealthy family. but Lena's new life as Esther comes with an unexpected wrinkle and pits her against a mother who will protect her family at any cost. That looks cool. I personally actually haven't seen the original version of Orphan. I've heard it's pretty good though, so I'm gonna have to catch it at some point, probably before catching up on the sequel. So hopefully we get some more on that as it develops. But moving on, going back to our Nika news. So, Nika revealed the upcoming Matt Hooper action figure from Joss, which does feature the licensed likeness of Richard Dreyfuss. Um, so he will now be joining the Quint action figure. For those of you that don't know, originally we were also going to get a Brody figure, but due to some licensing issues, they had to cancel the figure. So Nika officially showed off the figure, and the company previewed. Nika is excited to announce a new 8-inch clothed figure featuring the licensed likeness of Richard Dreyfuss as Matt Hooper from the 1975 classic. Standing at 8 inches tall, the young oceanographer is equipped with screen accurate accessories, 2 hats, a duffel bag, a cup, and a crushed cup, as well as swappable heads and tailored clothing. So the figure itself is going to be released in March 2022. And the likeness to Richard Dreyfuss is very, very good. I personally feel like there's something like a bit off. Like it's not as accurate as I think it could be. But it is going to be cool if you already have the Quint. You can go ahead and pair them both up. So that way you have a nice little Joss collection going. But moving on to a very exciting piece of news. The team behind Terrifier 2 is making a new movie called Stream, and it is a film that is now funding through Indiegogo, and the cast is one of the most stacked horror casts I think I've ever seen in a movie. So the movie is going to feature Jeffrey Combs, Danielle Harris, Tim Reed, Dee Wallace, Mark Holton, Felissa Rose, Daniel Roebuck, David Sheridan, Terry Alexander, David Howard Thornton, Charles Edwin Powell, Bob Adrian, Sidney Malachi, Wesley Holloway, and Michael Levy. And what's very, very cool as well is that the makeup effects for Stream are going to be handled by none other than Damien Leone himself. But the synopsis of the film reads, in the film, when Roy and Elaine Keenan realize their family is drifting apart, they decide that something needs to be done. Roy forces his work to take a back seat, and they seize the opportunity to recreate a vacation from their past. A peaceful stay in a quaint hotel is just what they need. However, this is not what is in store for them. With 4 deranged murderers patrolling the seemingly mundane halls, the odds are definitely not in the Keenan family's favor. Roy must fight for his life and those of his family as their simple weekend getaway truly turns into a vacation to die for. I love that synopsis. It's like the most 90s VHS thing I've ever read or ever heard. So that's going to be really cool if that's kind of the vibe that they're going to be going for. But moving on to some more home video news. So M. Night Shyamalan's Old is going to be heading to 4K and Blu-ray just in time for Halloween. The movie itself is going to be releasing on DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K Ultra HD on October 19th. And that is according to a listing on Amazon that came out earlier this week. But outside of that, we don't really have any other details. We don't know what kind of special features are going to be included, or if they're going to be boarding up some areas, or, whatever they're going to be doing with the film, or if we're going to have extended footage. So, I personally haven't had a chance to see it yet. It looks pretty cool, though. But moving on, this one's really interesting. So, Eli Roth and Zach Bagans are bringing a horror anthology series called The Haunted Museum to Discovery Plus. So Discovery Plus announced it's got a Ghostober lineup this afternoon, and it has like more than 50 hours of shows from 14 series and specials. But one of the brand new original projects coming to Discovery Plus is a horror anthology series titled The Haunted Museum, which is a collaboration between Eli Roth and Zach Bagans. And the series is actually going to feature many horror films based on hidden items from the Bagans vault. This is in the official press release. The series presents frightening and hellish tales inspired by these spooky relics, Baggins, a devoted collector of the macabre, is opening his museum vaults and sharing the secrets and stories behind a curated selection of his most prized haunted items through scripted shorts produced by Roth and his accredited team, and with featured commentary from Baggins. The series itself is going to come out on Saturday, October 2nd. It's going to be the first 2 episodes come out at once. But yeah, that looks pretty cool. Whoa, excuse me. But that looks pretty cool. Hopefully they don't stray too far from any of the items, because I feel like that might be a little respectful to the people that were dealing with that sort of situation. So it looks very cool. It looks really interesting. I like the fact. First of all, I love the fact that Zach Baggins has a museum of death, because why shouldn't he? Um, but we have some more news here regarding Salem Slot again. So James Wan, as we know, is producing the new take on the vampire story from Stephen King, and Gary Dauberman from New Line Cinema is attached to write the script and also direct the film. I'm sorry. So casting is completely underway, and we've been reporting that a release date has been set by Warner Brothers. Right now, it looks like it's set to be released on September 9th, 2022. So it's 1 full year from now. So hopefully we do remember that, because it's been quite a while. But moving on, Escape Room Tournament of Champions is going to be coming to home media this month with a longer alternative cut, which is very cool if you liked Escape Room Tournament of Champions. So we learned that it's going to be released digitally on September 21st, and it's coming to Blu-ray and DVD on October 16th. So the director explained, for fans of Escape Room, there are 2 versions of the movie to experience. The extended cut, which should appropriately be called the alternate cut, has a whole bunch of cool mythology and behind the scenes of Minos. Isabel Furman is incredible, and I'm glad this cut is getting its day in the sun. Hell yeah. That's going to be really cool. I like the fact that they're going to be doing some world building with Minos, because in the first film, at least, we know little to nothing about this company. But the fact that we're going to personally get to meet him is going to be very exciting to begin with. So, keep our eyes peeled for that one. But moving on to Guillermo del Toro news. So his new movie Nightmare Alley, that was originally supposed to release on December 3rd, actually got pushed a little bit forward to December 17th. And Nightmare Alley is rated R for strong bloody violence, some sexual content, nudity, and language. And again, this is one of those that has a very stacked cast. So we have Bradley Cooper, Cate Blanchett, Toni Collette, William Dafoe, Richard Jenkins, Rooney Mara, Ron Perlman, Mary Steenburgen, and David Wyree to star in Nightmare Alley as our victims or our sacrifices, whatever you may want to use. But yeah, that's going to be very exciting stuff. And the synopsis of the film reads, an ambitious young carny with a talent for manipulating people with a few well-chosen words hooks up with a female psychiatrist who is even more dangerous than he is. So this looks very cool. It looks like it might be like a type of cat and mouse game, but with evil and what makes people evil and what makes them do evil things. That's what I'm thinking this movie might be. But yeah, it's got like a bunch of people in it, and the premise of it sounds very exciting. So we'll see what happens there. But for right now, that is all I have for Fair this year. I didn't have a huge amount of news this time, but we got a good amount of big news. So, that's going to be pretty fun. But before I leave, I want to remind you guys again that all of the pictures that I mentioned can be found on any of our socials, which is Twitter or Instagram. And for our personals, you can find us on Twitter and YouTube as HHN Cultus, and on Twitter and Instagram at Yussef1220 and itbeyusef. With this, I leave you for the night, and I hope you have a good night or a good day whenever you're listening to this, and that you are enjoying HHN if you've been going so far. But I will catch you guys later. Bye, everybody.